Well, for us as a family, we might have a unique story in that I have kids with special needs. So when we first got approached with the idea of doing speech and debate, I just flat told her there are some things when you have kids with special needs you cannot do. And this would be one of them because my kids have autism, and that is something that is kind of defined by speech deficiencies. And so she encouraged me, just try it, just see what we can do. And because it was a small club and she was very encouraging, we started. And my son, my oldest son, he was more profoundly impacted with autism. And so I was really watching him to guide the whole thing. He's my oldest. My second one was like all gung-ho, we're in. She's kind of dragging us through it. So I was really watchful of my older son, and I saw him learn more than I thought he could, understand more than I thought he could, learn to take notes, learn to debate, and write a speech. And so the first tournament that we went to was, I had encouraged him, write about what you know, and you know what it's like, you know what autism is like. So begrudgingly, he began to do research to write this speech. And so he researched from a very clinical aspect, which, is fairly common for him to think in terms of black and white. And he put this whole speech together, and he was really reluctant to have me read it. And so I hadn't really read it. Well, that year I got put in the tab room. Don't ask me why. But I was working in the tab room, and they said, oh, your son broke to finals. And I'm thinking that's a bad thing. Something broke. So I was all concerned. They said, no, that's a good thing. That means he's in the top, and he broke to finals. You need to go watch him. So when I went to go see him, this is what I don't like. I get teary. I went to go see him. It was actually the first time I had seen the speech in its entirety. So he comes in the room. The room is packed. And he steps forward and begins to tell the story like a case study of this child and what he and his parents faced as they went through diagnoses and therapies and food interventions and all kinds of things. And in the end, he said, but when that boy grew up, he stood in a room like this and stepped forward, and he said, my name is Jonathan, and I'm here to tell you a story about autism. Well, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. And for the first time in his life, he had kids thumping him on the back and shaking his hand and being so proud of what he had done. It made an enormous impact on him. Still, many years later, that's one of the pivotal and key things in his life was he had success. For that shining moment, he was top of the heap. And it was a wonderful thing. And so I would love to say he's gone on to be a public speaker. He has not. But what we've identified is he's a wonderful writer. And I never would have known that about him had we not done speech and debate. Stoa meets them where they are, and they work with them where they are. I was very concerned in our first tournament that he was going to get ballots back that were going to say you need to, why aren't you looking me in the eye? Why can't you speak more clearly? And I felt like I almost needed to tell people, this qualifier that he struggles with speech. And his ballots moved me to tears. People were so encouraging to him. And it was evident that he's a little quirky, and they were so kind about him. And I began to just relax that my kids were safe here and that they were going to be encouraged and they were going to be supported and they were going to be met right where they were and pushed forward at whatever level that was going to be accomplished, not just by me as the mom, but a whole group of moms with a heart like a mom for my kids. And so I have loved that about this organization. I've loved that about what it's done for my family.